Welcome back. Well, now to something that's become a bit of a Christmas tradition here on World News Now. Every year we bring you an out-of-this-world story about Santa.
It's the story of Saint Nick and the Space Nicks, created by Bill Westerfield of the ABC Graphics Department.
People always write in about this story. Robert Krulwich explains what happens when Santa meets extraterrestrial counterparts.
'Twas on Earth before Christmas, on a cold winter's night, when a bright shimmering object popped into sight. 8 tiny reindeer had landed in Cork and pranced before St. Nick at the chimney of York, when suddenly, in the heavens, as quick as a wink, a flying saucer shot by in a great burst of pink. Electrons and protons measured the sky as the sound of sleigh bells followed it by. St. Nick looked up in wonder and saw a pink pie. And when it crash-landed, he heard a strange sigh. He slid from the chimney to the rain spout below and looked from the roof to the ground full of snow. Stuck to its waist with its feet in the air was a strange purple creature with long purple hair. It rumbled and jumbled and spun from its lair. It picked up its hat and landed with care. The stranger wore a cap exactly as he, and had a merry old face full of laughter and glee. "Who are you?" Santa said to this stranger so weird, but the creature said words that got stuck in his beard. St. Nick wrinkled his brow, and he shook his head. "I can't understand a word you said." The creature turned a knob that was next to his ear, and the words that came out were perfectly clear. "I'm Venick from Venus, and I lost my way when my hat blew off towards the bright Milky Way. I jumped to retrieve it and tripped on a star. Looks like I tumbled from near to afar." "You're on Earth, my good friend," Santa said with a grin. "I'm sorry you went into that awful spin." Venick crossed his eyes and pulled on his ear, and held in his hand a large purple tear. "I come from a planet of the same magnitude, but it takes 11 hours to cover my brood. I'm only half done and have much to do. How can I travel when I've lost my gazoo?" "Gazoo?" said St. Nick, much in surprise, as laughter filled his merry old eyes. "Gazoo," said Venick as he drew in the snow the picture of a walrus and 8 tiny go. "Gazoo and goes," Venick repeated with glee. "Goes?" said St. Nick. "What can they be?" "Goes," replied Venick, "are reindeer from space that go around and around at a very quick pace. They each have 10 legs that tickle the air, and when you think they are here, they're already there. But my goes are gone, and without my gazoo, my, oh my, what will I do?" St. Nicholas pulled on his beard and adjusted his sash, thought on the problem, and then said in a flash, "Have no fear, Venick, for when I am through, I'll fly you to Venus by Reindeer Express, and will deliver your toys in much time less. Hop into my sleigh and hold on to your hat. Away, reindeer, onward and upward. How about that?" So on that night they started anew, St. Nick, Venick, and an 8 reindeer crew. Santa told Venick about his good girls and boys, as Venick assembled all those wonderful toys. St. Nick offered candy that Venick could chew, and showed him the cities, the old and the new. And when they delivered the last Christmas toy, St. Nick pointed his sled towards the guiding star, Joy. More rapid than light, they sped through the night, and past Sputnik and Beatnik and the Eagle in flight. St. Nick and Venick flew into star space, and the whole universe smiled like a big happy face. Christmas was everywhere that they could see. And when they reached Venus, Santa laughed, "Can this be?" The stars, they all glistened and sparkled so bright, and lit up the heavens with Christmas tree light. Then, in a twinkle, the great northern star, all the space nicks came from near and afar. There was Unic and Lunic and Plutnik, and my, there must have been thousands that popped from the sky. St. Nicholas was amazed and astonished to see so many creatures dressed exactly as he. Some were as plump as a hippo could be, and some were as thin as the twig of a tree. Some had 2 heads or 3 heads or more, and some had long beards that reached to the floor. Lunic had a neck that stretched high in the sky, and in the middle of his forehead he had 1 yellow eye. Mernic wore red rose rings tied up with loose pink bows, and like an elephant she drank with her nose. Jupnik from Jupiter stood 20 feet tall, and when he yawned, he shrunk 10 inches small. The colors of these space nicks were grand to behold. Some even flashed like sequins of gold. They had sacks of toys, all different and gay, and many kinds of games for the children to play. There were moon dolls and boom dolls and hopos from space, and a different kind of candy with an all-around taste. The Space Nicks worked quickly in Venus's short night, and Christmas shined wondrously before morning's bright light. V-Nick looked out on moon, stars, and Christmas's grand theme, and wondered, moreover, is this but a dream? With joy in his heart for this gift so dear, V-Nick thanked his new friends. You saved Christmas this year. So when they departed and said their goodbyes, there were hugs of goodness and tears in their eyes. Well, since that time, many Christmases went by, and Santa Claus saw no more pie in the sky. That is, until 83 years hence, when a part of space fell through our ozone fence. The wind and the sea blew all that night. The raging storm was a terrible fright. The North Pole blew over, and the snow blew deep. All the candies and toys were thrown in a heap. Everything was ruined or blown out of sight. Nothing good happened, and nothing was right, when suddenly a good thought sat on St. Nick's head that filled him with hope and nothing to dread. Look to the sky, to the heavens above. There are billions of stars that sparkle with love. St. Nick looked to the sky, to the bright Milky Way, and saw a red rocket that looked like a sleigh. From out of the heavens and into the night came thousands of Space Nicks via space flight. They brought all their toys and their candies' delight and delivered the joys of Christmas that night. When they had finished, they flew back to space, and St. Nick couldn't have had a happier face. He stood at the North Pole that Christmas night and looked to the sky that sparkled star bright, when out of the stellar pack there suddenly flew a walrus dressed in tuxedo blue. It was V-Nick from Venus in a whirl of go light, and the Space Nicks together who lit up the night. They sang in the heavens in voices of gold as stardust settled in words to behold. Merry Christmas, good Earth, have faith and good cheer. Merry Christmas, good Earth, and Happy New Year.
Now, while you're not going to get Robert Krulwich narrating it, you can buy the book on your own. Visit the website spacenicks.com. I logged on because I was curious to know how much it was. It's less than $14. So if you like the story, it's definitely a great holiday.
It's a great story, great pictures, you know.
Yeah.
Every kid's going to love that.
Robert's voice, though, makes it for me.
Yeah.